Hi everybody. So on Monday I received a tip from someone that there were some bees in a tree. They were clearing the land and they really did not want to have to destroy the bees because they care about our pollinators. And so the lady called me and she asked me to come out, and this is what I was sent, was the pictures of the tree. And upon looking at it, I decided that it was not safe for me to try to work with it in the situation that it was. And so she had a contractor that was clearing the land, and so what we did was we got with him, and he was willing to cut the tree and to get it to where we could get the section where the bees were onto the ground. And so that's exactly what we did. And so here you'll see we made a plan. He used the skid steer and the grapples, held on to the part of the tree where the bees were located, then cut it loose from the base, and then went around to the other side, cut it loose up at the top there, and was able to get it to where, you know, I could work with it safely without having to take the risk of the tree falling on me or on my equipment and putting me in the hospital or out of business. So neither of those things would have been good. So that's what we did here. We got the contractor to help me get the section with the bees onto the ground. And then from there, the contractor assisted as far as any saw work, because I still haven't gotten myself a saw. And then I was able to, you know, I had to kind of work around his schedule a little bit, but I was able to eventually have it where he would cut it open to where I could get into this hive. I'll apologize in advance for the quality of the video after this clip of him cutting the tree, because I did not have any assistance to help with camera work, so pretty much, and my camera was like low on battery, so I pretty much just had to set the camera up on the tripod and just hope that I was getting everything in the frame. So enjoy it. If you don't, sorry, but you know, hopefully you find something educational about me doing this removal, and so it was a successful removal, and so in my opinion that's what matters. So enjoy the video. Okay, y'all, so we got the log on the ground, and then the guy that was working out here, he made a cut and cut straight into where the bees were. So needless to say, they got a little angry. So he's taking a break after getting stung in the hand and clearing some more of the land around here. And so what I've done is I've just been kind of like vacuuming bees, seeing what they're doing, trying to calm them down as much as I can. And let me show you my plan. I got the honey bandit. And what I plan to do here is I drilled a hole and I shine the light down in there. I'm sure that I would not be able to get it on camera, but I just used my regular drill. I shine the light down in there, and I know you can't see it very well because of this big old flashlight, but the bees are coming out of this hole, so I could tell whenever I drilled it that I was getting into that hollow spot. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just put some honey bandit on the stick, shove the stick down in there, try to get them to run out down here, where then I will vacuum them. And hopefully if we can get them vacuumed up, a good number of the bees, then we'll be able to take some of that fight out of them and maybe get this thing opened up without getting completely destroyed. My camera was not fully charged, and so I'm kind of conserving camera, so turn it back on whenever I got something to show you. Okay, so at this point I have gotten the contractor. He has cut the log open, as you saw from the pictures, and so that was what we were looking at. and he was getting about ready to go. You can kind of tell from the angle of the light that it is sunset at this point. So he was getting ready to go, and he asked me, like, did you need me for anything else? And by this point, I was pretty much like, no, I can handle it from here. I think it may have been right after this that I had him do that last cut to the right of where I'm working right now, just so that I would have access coming from both ends of this log. But at this point I was able to access the hive, as you can see. Unfortunately, with the glove situation and everything, I did not have the camera rolling when I pulled that first piece comb out. And you saw at the beginning of this clip, like I was not expecting it to come out as a whole piece, but it did, and I was super happy about that. It was really, really cool. I just kind of grabbed a hold of it as gently as I could, started kind of wiggling it back and forth. Here I'm showing it to, the property owners, the lady, she's wanting to see it. But I wiggled it back and forth and just real gently, just, let it come out kind of on its own, got it to come out. And then, he was getting ready to probably leave around that time. So then I'm moving the camera a little bit closer, just trying to do too many things at one time. Really should have had my sister out there helping me with this one. So here I am. I've got that first piece. You can see that there was like a lot of brood on that piece. And so here I've got the vacuum hose kind of just propped up, vacuuming up, check each piece. Make sure the queen's not on it, then vacuum all the bees that are on it. And I put all but that piece I just set on top of the log in the ice chest, in that cooler. And so I left that piece up there because it had brood on it. And I wanted there to be a place where whenever I would spray more honey bandit on the inside of the tree, that as the bees were coming out, there would be something there to hold them so that they would not just run like everywhere all along this tree. And it worked pretty well, because once they realized, like, oh my gosh, some of our brood is out there, then they actually started, a lot of bees started gathering on the outside. And whenever there would be, a good number of the bees out there, then I would pause, take a break from, laying, sitting on the ground, squatting, whatever, and I would actually go and like vacuum those bees up. And by this point, they're not really very aggressive at this point. It's just about me just having to try to be careful and make sure I'm not squishing anybody. I'm playing around with the vacuum hose here. One of the things with the vacuum is to try to keep it as straight as possible while you're vacuuming, just so that you're not hurting the bees. And so that's what I'm doing here. And then I'm shining the light up in there to see if I can see the queen, but as you can tell, my veil is getting in the way, but I'm still not confident enough to just take that off, especially after having received multiple stings from them at the very beginning. Well, let me tell you what I got. So I shined up in there.
Yeah.
I think I can get the pieces that are in this one, because did you see that there was a couple in there?
Side.
I think I can get those. The majority of it is right here in them little narrow pieces. You can see that's the brood.
Yeah.
And I can see it way down in there. And you saw how when I'm pulling it, I'm pulling like the whole piece almost.
Yeah, it's all sliding out.
So what I'm thinking is, what I need to do is I need to just cut that end down there off.
Okay.
So that if I have to,
you can get in it.
I can get into it from that end to smoke them down this way. Because what I may have to do is I may have to put this like right here, smoke them down, they'll smell that brood, they'll go in there. But I need to have access down there.
Okay, well.
So I think just if you can cut.
I'm going to cut it right here.
I think about where your teeth grabbed it.
Yeah.
Because it looks like the comb. I should have measured it when I brought that first piece out.
Well,
I didn't think about it.
But then you got to have opening to get to it and stuff. So.
But I should have measured how big that comb was.
You need to vacuum those up?
Yeah. So this is what we were working with after the contractor got the tree cut. So basically I have two pieces of this particular log. This part right here has the majority of the hive, and so I'm able to just work from the end like this. You can see me just carefully pulling the pieces out. I know the angle's bad, but that's a piece that mostly had sealed brood on it. So with each piece that I pull out of the hive, what I'm doing is I'm checking, first of all, I'm checking for the queen. Once I check both sides and I verify that she's not on there, then the next thing that I work on is I put it aside and I just move on to the next thing. So what you're going to see here is that I kind of alternate between vacuuming up bees and then pulling out these pieces of comb until I get to a point where I can get all that comb out of here, and then just really focus on trying to get the bees. And so that's what you're going to see is a lot of back and forth. I know the angle's bad, but you'll see me, you'll see me get up, you'll see the hose moving, things like that. And then right about in here is where you really start to see the bees just pouring out. And at this point, what I have done is I have put bee bandit at the other end of the log, on that last cut that the contractor made on the log. And the bees just cannot stand it, and so then they just start pouring out. But that's okay. That's where I want them. I don't want them in the middle on the inside of the log. I want them out of the log. And so as they're running out of here, this is sped up 8 times, I believe. So this is a lot faster than it's actually happening, obviously. And so as the bees are pouring out of the log, what I'm doing is I'm kind of letting them run out, spread, and then searching for the queen, because I am more likely to see her if the bees are spread out than if they are all clustered together. So that's what you see me doing here. And this is taking a long time. There's a couple of sections which are about coming up that I slow it down so you can actually see real time how slowly that I am doing this. And it's about in here is where you'll see me kind of jump, and then all of a sudden I'm reaching my hand up inside of the log. You see how the bees are clustered right here. So basically what happened was I'm vacuuming and I'm watching as I'm vacuuming. I saw the queen right towards the top of the cluster, closest to where they were on the log. And so what I decided to do at this point is that if they're going to cluster, I'm just going to scoop them out, throw them on the top of the log, or shake them off on top of the log, and then let them spread, look for the queen. And so that's what I'm doing here. And I know you can't really see it too well, so that's why I'm explaining it to you here. So that's what I'm doing, just get them to spread out, trying to get them to where I can see that queen again. But I did definitely see her at that particular moment. I just was not fast enough to get her caught. So after that, what I did was I took my queen cage and I actually got it out of my pocket so that it was ready, so that I wouldn't have that hopefully happen again. So again, right here, anytime the bees start clustering because they're missing all of their comb, what I'm doing is just reaching my hand in there, scooping up as many bees as I can, as gently as I can, and then just like kind of shaking them off onto the top of the log, letting them spread, and then looking for that queen. So I actually, on this particular job, I actually broke one of my own rules, which is that I actually did this job for no charge to the homeowner. I did that for a couple of reasons. One reason why I did that was because, she was clearing the land, and, she'd already told me she'd tried multiple people, and she couldn't get anyone to come out. She wanted to save the bees. However, she was, still mentioning the possibility that, that if they couldn't find somebody, that they were going to have to just cut the tree and throw it on the burn pile. And so I just felt like it was better for me to just go ahead and do the job for free, and then just hope that, that I got lucky and I was able to get the queen and get a hive out of it. And also, while I've been beekeeping for a while, the whole removal thing is pretty new to me, and so this is like a lot of practice for me, and also sort of like building a portfolio at this point as well. So that's kind of how I approached it, was just as a portfolio. So here you're just getting some views of the inside, what it looked like, and how gnarly that log is. And then this is just a fast forward video for your viewing pleasure. It's really funny to go back and look at it and just see how many bees there were at one point, and then by the time you get about to this stage, how few bees there are remaining. So this was definitely a swarm that moved in this year. The bees are just really moving and building really fast, but you can tell, if you know anything about beekeeping, you can tell that all of these combs are new combs. There was no old comb. There's no evidence of any old hives at all. This was all new combs, so they're very tender. And here I am, I almost want to slow this down, but here I am pulling out this massive piece of comb, and you can just see, I put it in real time, so you can really just see like how careful I'm being. I'm reaching up in there, but I still don't have the queen at this point, so I don't know if she's going to be on the piece I'm grabbing. And so what I'm trying to do is, when I'm putting my hands on that piece of comb and I'm having to grab a hold of it, just kind of like wiggling my fingers around, moving really slowly, really carefully, to try to make sure that I don't accidentally squish her. Then once I get the comb, once I've checked both sides, I know she's not on it, I can lay it down on top of that log, use that log kind of like a table, vacuum bees off of it, and then I'm just using my hive tool to just cut it into sections. And I did not have any kind of templates or anything to make sure I was getting them the right size, but I just tried to estimate about how thick I needed the pieces to be to eventually go into a frame. And here you can just see, I just wanted to leave this in here to show you. As you can see, I'm working with a light at this point. This is just like one of those cheapo little lights that you can get at like Tractor Supply. And of course, if I get stung, I have to show you guys. So here it is for your pleasure. I love how, like, looking back at it, like I can see the bee like fly in and land right there on my hand, and then there it is. And yes, I got the queen. It was right after I got stung that I got the queen. You can kind of see her in there on the left side right there. And then at the top, inside of that cage, right there. This is just a shot inside. some more photos with the flash. And as you can see, that is the finished product. That is what was left. This is just showing the empty hollow cavity in the log where the hive used to be. You could see where the wax was connected, and the hive is no longer there. And you know, once again, for funsies, gotta show that log. So thanks for watching. Please make sure to subscribe if you have not already. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you.